Hello everyone and welcome back. It's been a long time since I've made a video, but I'm back and I am getting myself back into the groove of things. And this time I'm going to be making a tier list for Spyro games just because I kind of want to and to get me kind of back into the groove of things. Um, Now, these are obviously my opinions and you're not going to agree with them, but they're my opinions and I'm welcome to have them. So to start this off, we're going to start off with Spyro 1, which is an A tier. I would put it at an S tier, but there are better games on here. Spyro the Dragon is what started this whole thing off. And what made everybody fall in love with the dragon, yes, the voice was kind of atrocious, but the gameplay, absolutely amazing. I mean, you have a full, basically open, sort of open world, and just a little dragon to play as. You get to, I mean, it's just epic. It's absolutely amazing. Just what everything that you could do. It was so much gameplay, especially for the PS1 back in the day. And then you got Spyro Adventures, which was on the Game Boy Advance. And I'll be honest with you, most of the Game Boy Advance games I'm going to give a C to because they tried, but they didn't absolutely do an amazing job on them. They really did try, though. I'll give them credit that they did try. They're just not great. They all kind of feel the same, in my opinion. And then you got Spyro 2, Ripto's Rage. Great game, epic boss. They fixed a lot of the problems with 1, and it's almost a perfect game. But it's up there. It's definitely a very good sequel to the first game. And you got Spyro Season of Ice, which is another Game Boy Advance game, and it's okay. It's not amazing. It's better than D tier in my opinion. Yeah, the mini games were not absolutely amazing, but I still had a decent time with it. Spyro Orange, I'd put it in C tier also. It falls in the same category as all the other Game Boy Advance games. But Spyro Orange, I believe, is the one where he had Crash collab with him, which that was cool. That was a highlight. I don't know why they never brought that to like the actual PlayStation. It's one of them questions that we'll probably never get a complete answer to. Yeah, Spyro Hero's Tale, which I'll put in B category, mostly because it is not as good as the original trilogy. They tried to come back and make another Spyro kind of like the original trilogy, but there's just and it's good. Don't get me wrong, it's good. I do recommend playing it, but there's just something with it that just doesn't feel right. It's like gameplay elements are there, everything's just kind of there, but it feels like something's just not right the whole time you're playing it. And it's the same thing with Spyro Enter the Dragonfly. Yes, A Hero's Tale was better than Enter the Dragonfly by quite a bit. Um, but Enter the Dragonfly felt like it would have been that perfect sequel to 3. Or was it? Whatever you want to call it, whatever the word is. Follow up to 3. But it just felt like they didn't try enough, you know what I mean? Like, they were right there, had it, and they just didn't try enough, and they tried even harder with the Hero's Tale and got closer, but this didn't quite hit it. Just didn't quite hit what they needed to hit. And it's hard to live up to the original 3. It's really hard to do that. But not bad games, not horrible games. Yeah, Enter the Dragonfly is wildly hated for not only its visuals, but some of its story elements. And I can see where people are getting with that, but at the same time, it's not as bad as everybody says it is either. Um, Another Game Boy Advance game, Spyro Season of Flame, which is I can't remember if it's I guess it is a sequel to Season of Ice. It does say Spyro 2 Season of Flame, but it doesn't really feel like they changed anything. Like I said, all the Game Boy Advance games kind of feel like they're exactly the same. Um, I'm not sure which one this one is. Which one is this one? Let's look on here. Shadow Legacy. Oh, okay. This is where. Oh, this is where I started to fall out of the Spyro games. So Spyro Shadow Legacy was one of the first ones that introduced this. Well, if I'm not mistaken, one of the first ones that introduced this new combat mechanic, and it either happened in Spyro Shadow Legacy. I can look right here. It either happened in Spyro Shadow Legacy, which let's see, October 2005. New Beginning 2006. So yeah. So introduced this combat mechanic that I just let me see. Let me make sure I got that right. Was it in this one where they introduced that combat mechanic? Yeah, they introduced like this RPG type of element to it. And honestly, it was just so horrible. It did not mix well with the Spyro, with what we knew and what we got used to with Spyro, what we loved about Spyro. It did not mix well with it at all. And it was just miserable to play through. And it is absolute D tier. Just, it felt like they didn't even try. They didn't know what they were doing with Spyro. And it's the same thing with A New Beginning, The Eternal Night, and what was this? Dawn of the Dragon. All of them are D tier in my opinion. None of them feel like Spyro. None of them feel like they did a good job. They introduced this combat mechanic system, which basically gave Spyro melee attacks, which didn't make any sense. He had the headbutt, he had different fire breaths before, and now all of a sudden he's basically fist fighting enemies. The story in all of them was just absolutely atrocious. None of the boss battles felt good. I feel like they were trying a different direction with these Spyro games that they did not need to go down. They could have followed the base mechanics of the original three, Enter the Dragonfly, and A Hero's Tale, just branched off of those, and they could have been amazing games. But I feel like these four down here at the bottom are why it took so long for us to get another good Spyro game. And we really haven't gotten a new Spyro game in a long time. Because you can't really count Skylanders, because Skylanders, he's just kind of in it, and they changed up his look a lot, made him look absolutely disgusting. But I will say, at least Skylanders kept him pretty original. Besides the look, like, his feel kind of felt the same. But yeah, these four, if you ask somebody what killed the Spyro franchise, they would probably say either the Game Boy Advance games or these four games. And that's what I would tell everybody. Like, these four, yeah, they kind of made you sit back and be like, I don't know, but I'll still play them. And then you get to these four and you're like, what am I playing? This isn't Spyro the Dragon. Like, what is this? And yeah, I will say the introduction of Cinder, though. Cinder is a great character. That was the one thing they added that I really enjoyed was Cinder. And I wish they would bring back Cinder if they ever make another Spyro the Dragon game. But if they do make another Spyro the Dragon game, I want it to be made just like the original Spyro games. They had an amazing thing going. And yeah, they messed up here and there, but it wasn't too bad until they got to these four games, and then they just completely lost track and fell off of what Spyro the Dragon is supposed to be. And now we get to Year of the Dragon, the best Spyro game that has ever been made. Spyro Year of the Dragon was the last time that we got an amazing Spyro game. Think about that. That was on the PS1. And that was the last time we got an amazing Spyro game. And it's sad because he needs a new one. And yeah, we can count. This is S tier. I'm just going to go ahead and say that. But that is a remake of the original 3. And Toys for Bob did such an amazing game. And honestly, if somebody makes a new Spyro game, Toys for Bob needs to do it. They're the ones that need to work on it. Because they stayed so true and did so good with the remake. And let's be completely honest, like, they could have went stupid with it. But they didn't. They kept it exactly like it should be. And I gotta give them credit for that. But what we really need is another Spyro game that is like the original 3. Actually, basically, what we need is a remake of Enter the Dragonfly and A Hero's Tale for today's audience. Because they could fix everything that was wrong with Enter the Dragonfly and everything that was wrong with A Hero's Tale. Have Toys for Bob do them. And they could fix all the problems that are with it. Completely disregard this entire series. And then after these two, come out with a new series that takes like the concept of these, where Spyro's getting older, getting new attacks, getting a little bit bigger. You know, he's getting a girlfriend, Cinder. Take that concept and apply it to the mechanics and and gameplay mechanics of the original 3 games. And Spyro the Dragon is resurrected from the dead for a brand new audience. And I can tell you, my kids love Spyro the Dragon. So it's not that Spyro's dead, it's just the fact that all the newer generation have is the remake. That's all they have to play, and that's all the introduction they have for Spyro. And it's honestly sad. I feel like if they made a new Spyro game, not only would it sell amazing because you'll have the new generation that have played the remake, you know, they'll get it and they'll be like, oh cool, a new Spyro game, I get to play it. But you'll have the older generation like me who grew up on the original 3. We're gonna buy it too. It's a money making idea. It's honestly kind of sad they haven't done it yet. They did it with Crash Bandicoot because they had Crash 4, I believe it was, and then they remade Nitro Kart, or the kart ones. They remade the original 3 Crash games. So it can be done, easily be done. They just got to actually get in there and do it. And I just honestly wish that they would, because we need Spyro the Dragon back. Badly need him back. But those are my ratings for the Spyro the Dragon games. And if you like these little tier ranking videos, I will make some more. I don't know what other kinds that I could do. There was some Marvel Rivals ones I could do, but those would be a lot longer. And I really wasn't wanting a super long video. I was just kind of wanting something that I could just jump in, talk for a little bit, give my opinions about. I have been sick lately, if I can tell that. I don't know, my mic has been acting a little weird for some reason. I don't know if it's the recording, the background music, the microphone itself. I'm not sure, because it seems to work fine when I'm talking to other people. But this is like the 6th time I've tried recording this because of microphone issues, and it's probably still happening. But it is what it is. But anyways, I'm gonna try to start getting back into YouTube, making some more videos. I'm not sure what I'm gonna start playing. I'm kind of been on Rivals for a little bit now. I started Pacific Drive, so I might do some of those, but we'll see how it goes. But if you like this, please hit that like button, please hit that subscribe button, give me some recommendations, and I'll talk to all of you guys later.